Rebecca froze. A giant wolf stood before her, ancient eyes locked on hers. She tried to move, but a spell held her frozen. A loud growl came from deep in its chest, and those dark eyes promised she wouldn't escape. Not tonight. Bound by Fate. Written by Whisper Quill. Previously in Chapter 16.
There's nothing there. Every frame confirms it.
Damien shook his head slowly.
No, something was there. She saw it.
Jordan's expression hardened as he spoke.
If the cameras didn't catch it, then we're dealing with something that doesn't want to be seen.
Damien thought over his words, the unease gnawing deeper. Even then, the question remains, how did she see?
What did you see in your dream, Rebecca?
She didn't hesitate.
I saw that man. He shot me.
Her unfiltered response shook Damien for a second, his fists clenching tight at his sides as dread coiled low in his chest. She asked,
What do I not know, Damien?
Damien decided to give her what she wanted.
You are dealing with no ordinary human, which is why you must let me help you.
In the records, Felix discovered something unusual about his birth. His birth sign matched a rare celestial pattern, one believed extinct for decades. That pattern had only appeared in legends, seen in wolves who altered the course of worlds. He uncovered fragments of the original prophecy. The truth was stark and unambiguous. The council's version read, "The cursed child will bring ruin." But the older text told a different story. The marked child will break the old throne. He had been condemned on an edited prophecy. History itself had been twisted into a weapon against him. Even his birth was recorded as an omen. If the cursed infant lives beyond exile, the fall will not be contained. Records stated his bloodline brought ruin across repeating ages. Again and again, the same pattern surfaced. Heirs marked by madness. Cycles of destruction that only ended when the cursed heir perished. And now Felix understood. He had been kept alive because the cycle had not yet ended.
My dearest daughter, there is something you now must know about me. I have never been a simple human, my love, not like the people you grew up around. I was born with a gift, rare even among those who share it. I was what our world calls a messenger. I could send thoughts, memories, and warnings across any distance, shielding them in ways few could break. It is how I kept you hidden, how I kept you safe, how I spoke to those who needed to know about you, and to those who must never find you. Not all is revealed yet, but it is enough for you to know that the woman who raised you was never only human, and neither, my love, are you.
The envelope sat on the table while the paper remained unfolded in his large hands. 3 people occupied the room. 2 avoided meeting the eyes of the person across from them. But she sat patiently, waiting for any response or explanation they might offer. When none came after a long, heavy silence, she spoke in a hushed voice.
You have known this all along, haven't you?
The words landed like a verdict, one they had clearly been dreading. Their heads dropped slightly in confirmation, though their lips stayed sealed. Rebecca sighed loudly, shut her eyes, and swallowed as her patience wore thin. A minute later, a heavy voice cut the silence.
Is that all you have come to know about your mother's past?
James William asked, his tone careful. Rebecca shook her head.
Some things more.
James and Serena William held their breaths at her response.
She gave me the name of my real father. She also told me that my birth records have been altered.
Rebecca held a dejected tone. The sadness in her words bled through her voice.
I am not here to ask you guys anything more, but I do have one question. Why have my mother, or you, never told me the truth before?
James and Serena looked at each other. Sadness crossed their faces before Serena spoke.
Truthfully, we all took a vow of secrecy, and once you swear it, you cannot break it.
James added.
This was a way your mother made sure the truth reaches you, kid.
Rebecca understood what they meant. They would not share any more details unless she asked, and even then, they might not be in a position to reveal what remained hidden. James rose from the couch as he spoke.
Kid, we would have told you if we could. But the truth must come from your mother. At the moment, the most we can offer is sympathy and whatever comfort you need.
He paused, swallowed, and looked away, almost ashamed. When he met her eyes again, he added,
And no one else knows about your parents, not even my own children.
Serena added,
Unless your mother guides you through your family history, no one can know your true identity. And when everything is revealed, you'll have to be kept hidden. No one can know your real name. Only then can you live safely in the city you were meant to, and grow as your mother intended.
Her words buzzed in Rebecca's head. Who knew when the next letter would arrive? A day? A week? Another dead end, she thought bitterly. Driving toward the Williams house, she braced for more silence. Still, the suspense only fed her frustration, and her mother's absence grew sharper with every sealed envelope. How much longer would she have to wait to learn the truth about her parents and her past? More thoughts surfaced. What were they so afraid of? What could hurt her? Her lips stayed shut while her mind raced. Before she could leave, Serena's voice cut through.
Most people in this region didn't even know you were born. They'd been led to believe no one from your parents' line had survived.
Rebecca's eyes widened. She lifted her head and, for the first time that afternoon, nodded, absent-mindedly at first, then with a small, hard recognition. At least this was something new. She felt dizzy stepping out of the Williams place. James and Serena knew more than they had said. They were her mother's confidants, keepers of her past. The knowledge gnawed at her, tightening the silence around her. In the mirror, a black sedan kept pace. Jordan followed at a distance, under Damien's orders. Everywhere she turned, someone was watching, shielding her. She wasn't blind to it, Damien least of all. From the moment they met, she hadn't been able to shake him from her life, and with each passing day, the threads of their lives tangled tighter in ways she couldn't yet make sense of. She sensed he carried his own agenda, and the unseen consequences sometimes made her afraid. She tried to quiet the voices inside, but dread lingered at what it could mean. She understood why he insisted on protection, yet his silence carried something deeper, maybe even dangerous. Uncovering the mystery might cost her, and she knew it wouldn't be risk-free. Still, something inside reasoned she had to see for herself. Until then, she would wait, watching for the secrets Damien kept. Answers hadn't come. Only more questions burned inside her. She knew secrets never stayed buried, and everyone's protection pressed in like heavy chains, waiting for the moment they would break open. She hissed in frustration and shook her head. Keeping her speed relatively slow, she made a quick stop at the store, picked up a few things, and then headed straight home. When she looked up, the evening sky was painted in soft hues, and a brief calmness rushed over her. Not long after, both Rebecca and Jordan had to change course, because a car accident had blocked the two-way main road. Ambulances and rescue responders crowded the scene. Even from a distance, the sight made her stomach twist. Her eyes clouded with the memory of her mother's accident, and she didn't wait a second before steering her car away. Jordan followed closely for a few minutes, but traffic forced him a few cars behind. Still, Rebecca's car remained in sight. He saw the exact street she'd turned into. But when he reached the same street less than a minute later, to his shock, there was no car in view. His pulse spiked as he pressed harder on the gas, his heightened senses tracking the movement. At the end of the street, he looked both ways and turned where his instincts pulled him, his heart pounding at the thought that her car had vanished.
Were you able to track her?
The response came without hesitation.
No, Alpha. You know very well. No one can track her unless she allows it.
Damien reminded him.
I need her back. That was our deal.
Yes, Alpha. I'll give it my all,
and bring her back to Sunsville soon enough.
Damien's voice carried urgency as he revealed,
Things are moving fast here, Kane. I may not have much time.
Kane's reply was steady.
I understand, Alpha.
The line disconnected, and Alec spoke up in concern.
Alpha, I don't mean to question your authority, but is this the right move?
Damien cracked his neck to ease the tension before answering.
I don't want to rely on anyone else when it comes to her. She's different, Alec, and I need to know how and why. Rebecca may need my protection, but I can't fight an opponent I can't see.
Alec understood that Damien had shown impeccable patience when it came to his mate. Alec also knew someone was stalking Rebecca. Choosing his words carefully, he addressed the looming threat.
The whole city is on high alert, Damien. I'm certain we'll locate the culprits who entered illegally and are hiding now.
Damien exhaled slowly, collecting his thoughts before speaking.
Have you had a chance to get an update from Hayley?
Hayley will visit Ravencrest before returning. We'll have to wait for whatever news she brings from the Legacy Hall of Records.
Damien's fingers curled into his palm.
Whoever stole those records could be tied to the chaos in our city.
Alec hummed in agreement.
I'm hoping Hayley's sources in the council will be of some use to us.
Silence settled between them, their minds restless. Damien's brows drew together, a quiet crease forming.
I was thinking,
Alec waited.
once Hayley's back, she'll have to know the truth about Rebecca.
Alec lowered his gaze for a long moment before looking up to speak.
I think she may have an idea.
Damien's eyes lifted, and Alec swallowed before continuing.
You weren't exactly subtle.
Damien shifted, his jaw tightening as if bracing for the thought. Alec caught it and pressed on.
You have nothing to worry about, Alpha. No harm will come to your mate from mine. You know Hayley. She doesn't despise humans, not in the slightest. She's already close to Rebecca, and when the day comes, she'll gladly accept her as Luna. For now, she only suspects the bond, and even then, she won't breathe a word to your mate. That's yours alone to reveal.
He leaned forward slightly, voice low but certain.
Hayley respects boundaries. She understands the weight of secrets, and she won't interfere. Her loyalty is to me, and you both, Alpha, and she'll guard what she knows.
Damien knew Hayley, of course, yet Alec's reassurance eased him.
I do worry, however.
Damien admitted.
About what exactly?
Alec asked.
Everyone around Rebecca, including me, has been lying to her, hiding things. She doesn't know the truth about any of us, Alec. How do you think she'll react when it all comes out?
His fists clenched until his knuckles whitened, and he dragged a hand through his hair in frustration.
And the one friend she relied on these past few months has been hiding her truth as well.
His voice faltered.
I worry this could damage her trust beyond repair.
Alec listened, every word sinking in. He saw the tension in Damien's shoulders, the restless edge in his stance. It wasn't only about Rebecca's trust. It was about the fear gnawing at him from within. Deep down, Damien dreaded the one thing no wolf ever wished upon another: rejection. It was more than heartbreak. It was a tearing of the soul, a wound that never truly healed. Wolves carried scars from it for life, and even the strongest could be hollowed by its weight. Alec knew Damien's fear had him circling this thought obsessively, unable to let it go.
You are right to be worried, Damien. I wish I could ease your tension, but some things only time will reveal.
Damien shook his head, forcing his thoughts into order.
You're right. I'm obsessing over it.
His voice dropped.
I can't help it, Alec. Whatever happens, I know one thing. I want my mate safe at all costs.
Alec met his gaze.
You've held yourself together this long. Hold on a little longer. Nothing will go wrong.
Damien's fist slammed against the pillar, cutting his words short.
I'm stretched too thin. I can't be by her side all the time. And with this new threat looming over her life...
He broke off, jaw tight.
Alec, I'm doubting myself for the first time.
The admission hung heavy in the air. His shoulders rose and fell once, sharp and controlled, before he whispered.
I feel unprepared for what's to come.
Alec reasoned.
Your bond isn't complete yet. It's natural to feel vulnerable when you lack both the emotional and physical connection with your mate.
He held Damien's gaze.
You've shown restraint most alphas couldn't manage. She's been right in front of you for months, and still you've resisted claiming her. You've denied your wolf, denied yourself, and carried the weight of it every day. Few could endure that without breaking.
I am on the verge of it.
Damien huffed darkly. Alec's eyes narrowed, reading the strain in him.
You are bound to feel unbalanced, Damien. You've been holding back instincts that were never meant to be chained. Every alpha would feel the strain, but you've managed it longer than most. That's not a liability. It's the cost of restraint.
He hesitated, then pressed on.
Still, as your beta and your friend, I'll say this. You can't keep delaying. Whatever comes for your bond, it will be harder to face if Rebecca is left in the dark. Secrets have a way of breaking free.
Alec let the thought hang.
It's time, Alpha. Tell her, before the choice is taken from you.
Damien exhaled slowly, forcing his body to calm before his mind would follow. Rebecca drove a few minutes more before taking another turn, desperate to escape the maze of identical neighborhoods. She exhaled sharply, realizing she had taken a wrong turn.
The sight of the accident must have clouded my judgment, and I lost focus while driving.
She thought dejectedly. The road ended in a dead end, with houses on one side and a forest on the other, not a single soul in sight. Her stomach churned. She shifted the car into reverse, backing slowly along a wide road that carved between houses and looming forest. Then a sharp sound. One of the tires blew. The car lurched, and she slammed the brakes, heart hammering. She unbuckled and climbed out, staring at the front tire now flattened. Running a hand through her hair, she let out a ragged breath. Before she could move toward the dashboard to grab her phone, the hood snapped open and a thin smoke curled upward. Instinctively, she stepped back, shoulders hunched, edging toward the front of her broken car. The stillness pressed against her ears, and her stomach twisted as if warning her to flee. Her gaze began searching in all directions, unease settling in her chest. Evening had nearly settled, the skies filled with clouds as the sun bled out behind the trees. Rebecca's breath tightened, her gaze drifting unfocused, until a sound scraped from the rear of her car. Her step faltered. A massive wolf stood there. For one heartbeat, her mind tried to name it dog. But she had loved animals her whole life. She knew this was no dog. This was a wolf. A giant wolf staring straight through her. Her breath died in her throat. Every muscle locked. The world narrowed to those unblinking, ancient eyes that saw through her. She willed herself to move, to run, to hide, to do something. Nothing. Her body refused. It wasn't fear, it was a spell. Something had reached inside her and bound her joints in iron. The wolf growled, low, rumbling, hungry. Its eyes never left hers. Another sound stirred behind her, and her neck twisted toward it. He stepped from the shadows. His clothes were different now, and his face was once again half hidden beneath the hood. The angle left his features elusive, unclear in the fading light.
"Try harder, princess,"
he drawled.
"Maybe you'll break free of my spell."
His tone set her on edge. His laugh was low, deliberate. He moved closer, eyes glinting.
"At last, I can take a proper look at you."
Recognition struck. The man from the rain, the one who had followed her that night.
"I reached for you in your dream,"
he murmured, tilting his head.
"but you fought me there, stronger than I expected."
His smirk widened.
"Here, though? You can't move, can you?"
He gestured at her frozen body.
"So fragile, so human."
Who are you?
She forced out, seething. He huffed, mocking her with a tilt of his head.
"I thought you'd be more, but you're nothing. Pathetic."
Rebecca's voice cut through.
Break me free, and I will tell you who I am.
He studied her for a moment longer, as if she were a puzzle missing pieces. then stepped back.
I've wasted enough time.
He murmured.
Let's see what you really are.
He turned and walked toward the forest. 3 steps, 4. The shadows among the trees seemed to reach for him, and then he was gone, simply not there anymore. Only the wolf remained. It hadn't moved, still watching and still waiting. Its growl had faded to silence, but its posture had shifted, lower to the ground, muscles coiled, ready to pounce any second. Rebecca's heart hammered. The spell still held her. She could not run, could not hide. The wolf took 1 step forward, and then it took another. Her heart sank. Her lungs had forgotten how to work. Her fingers curled into fists at her sides. Her nails bit hard into her palms. The wolf's ears flattened. Her throat moved as she swallowed. She tried to step back, but her body refused once more. Rebecca's eyes burned, but tears didn't fall, blurring the beast's shape before her. Her heart hammered in fear, each beat choking her throat. The wolf's head snapped up, ears forward, neck tilted at the sound from somewhere behind Rebecca. Then, a growl. Not from the wolf in front of her, but from deeper in the trees. And the first wolf went rigid. Another wolf stepped out of the shadows of the forest, twice the size, its dark gray fur streaked with silver. Its eyes glowed yellow for a beat, then darkened to near black as rage took hold. It didn't look at Rebecca. The first wolf lowered its head. A whine escaped its throat, quick, submissive, before it lunged. The giant gray wolf met it midair, teeth, fur, snarls tore through the evening. They rolled once, twice, a blur of gray and brown. Blood sprayed the dead grass. Then 2 more wolves burst from the tree line, dark shapes, faster, meaner. They slammed into the gray wolf from both sides, forcing it to release the first. It staggered back, snarling, as all 3 circled now, heads low, teeth bared. The giant dark gray wolf did not retreat. It was none other than Logan. The alpha lunged at the nearest, claws flashing, rage unleashed. They tore across the attacker's flank, blood streaking its fur, and the wolf slowed. Logan's dark jaws clamped the enemy's throat before it could retaliate. His grip tightened, and with 1 savage shake, then another, the body went limp, crashing to the ground. The third wolf hit from the side. They crashed, rolling, snapping. Logan twisted beneath the attacker, muscles coiled with brutal force. His jaws snapped onto the wolf's leg, teeth sinking deep until bone shattered with a sickening crack. The wolf shrieked, thrashing, but Logan didn't relent. His claws raked across its ribs, tearing fur and flesh. Blood sprayed as the wolf staggered back, crippled. Dragging its ruined leg, it managed to limp into the forest, tail tucked, but the wounds might follow it to the grave. Logan rose again. Blood dripped from his muzzle and shoulder. His chest heaved, and his eyes remained dark, fixed on the first wounded wolf, lying on the ground, too wounded to flee. The air stilled. Then he threw back his head and howled, a raw sound that split the silence and carried through the trees. When it faded, Logan lowered his gaze and his eyes met his mate. Her breath hitched and the forest blurred. The edges of her vision darkened. Her pulse thundered in her ears, drowning out everything. The world began to lose its axis before her eyes. Rebecca blinked, slow and desperate, but the ground rushed up to meet her as her knees buckled. She felt the impact, a dull shock through her knees, her palms, her hips. Through the haze, she saw the massive, bloodied wolf lunging toward her, eyes fixed on her alone, closing the space between them in a heartbeat. In that last sliver of consciousness, when fear should have been the only thing left, something else whispered through the chaos. Not a threat. Her eyes fell shut, then darkness claimed her. In the dead hush of the room, footsteps broke the silence before the door creaked open. The dim light inside cast him in shadow, features blurred, but the old man knew instantly who had stumbled to his door after weeks. His frail voice echoed between them.
To what do I owe this visit, master?
Felix stepped forward, his posture steady.
We will be on the move soon, old man.
With each passing day, his magic warden's strength waned. Still, the old man clung on, stubborn, defiant, refusing to yield to the decay. The elder's gaze lingered, weary but sharp.
I thought I had lost you to the records. You've buried yourself in them.
Felix drew a deep breath, closing the distance to the bed.
I hope you have it in you to stay with us longer. There are things I must know, answers only you can give.
The old man studied him, eyes clouded yet piercing, before a tired sigh escaped.
Ask away, master.
Felix sat down on a solid wooden chair, which creaked slightly under his heavy build. The surprise in his tone did not go unnoticed as he spoke.
You agreed so easily this time.
The elder huffed faintly.
When have I ever refused you anything?
Yet you've been relentless this past decade, pressing me to abandon my crusade.
Felix's tone hardened at the end.
That is because I don't want you walking into your own death trap, Felix.
His voice softened, resigned.
I wanted you to have a life without bloodshed, grief, and ruin. I only ever wanted your future free from the shadows of your brutal past.
Felix's jaw tightened, his throat working against the bitterness rising in him.
And what good did it do my family, old man? They called us monsters anyway. Hunted us. Slaughtered us. Whenever they could.
He didn't wait for a response.
They stripped me of my right to live, my right to a name. And you still expect me to forgive? To walk away as if none of it mattered?
The elder rasped as he warned him again.
You've always known the truth, Felix. They want the power you carry, and they will twist it for their gain. And when I am gone, it will drive you deeper into a darkness no bond can contain.
Felix's eyes burned, his words cutting like glass.
I knew long before you ever told me. I was being raised for a sacrifice.
The old man's expression shifted before he whispered.
I didn't do any such thing. The oath I broke is the reason I am dying, remember? A slow, painful death awaited me, and I knew it. Even so, I wanted you to have a chance at life, to make your own path, to change the prophecy, to change your destiny.
Felix lowered his gaze, the silence beginning to thicken before he broke it.
My lineage has produced both devastators and rulers. Yet everyone saw me as the former, the destroyer of the throne, the cursed one who would bring downfall. And you said it yourself, the prophecies cannot be changed.
The elder sighed loudly, unsure how to settle Felix's anger.
The prophecies were altered to derail your fate.
Felix shot back, his eyes flashing.
Yet one of those fabricated prophecies actually spared my life. How do you know which ones stayed close to the truth and which were twisted?
The elder hesitated.
You know, master, I wouldn't know much about it. But that witch did show you the truth. I thought if you knew of her, perhaps she would enlighten you.
Felix huffed in frustration, his tone edged with bitterness.
If I was meant to be raised in exile, then surely they knew their perfect harmony was only on borrowed time.
The elder straightened, declaring with certainty,
Master, I believe you may not be their downfall entirely. Rather, they will be yours.
Felix mulled over his words and stayed quiet for several moments. The tension in the room grew heavy with silence. The elder's voice carried a grave warning.
The powers you possess could fall into the wrong hands if you are captured, Felix. You know they would want to control you, to harness your gifts for their vicious schemes.
He paused, repeating the words Felix had grown up hearing.
You are the last of your kind, a product of the strongest houses our species has ever seen. They knew you would not be contained, not be controlled, so they marked you as cursed even before your birth.
Felix looked up, his eyes burning with restrained rage as he spoke low.
Did you raise a coward, old man? You think I would sit and wait for them to come fetch me, to do whatever they want?
His fingers curled into his palm, knuckles whitening as the fury pressed against his restraint. A deep, low laugh escaped Felix as he slowly rose.
Do you think I am afraid of dying?
He shook his head in amusement, folding his arms across his chest.
If my demise is what awaits me, then I will make sure they all go down with me.
He breathed, his voice steady.
However, except one,
he declared, eyes narrowing.
I will spare the one and his family who spared me long ago. If that person still lives, I need that name, old man, before my plan comes to motion.
The elder wasn't surprised by Felix's motive. When pressed again, he responded in a calm tone.
I don't have the information to give you yet, but my men will return soon with something.
Shocker.
Felix mocked, his voice dripping with scorn.
This is only the second question you failed to answer.
The elder replied with dry sarcasm.
Old age, I suppose. My circle and my methods have grown ineffective.
Felix hummed impatiently.
I know you are incapacitated at the moment, so I shall have something for you to do for the time being.
The elder nodded in agreement.
I will have my men deliver some records to you. You need to read them and keep them safe till I ask for it.
The elder's voice was cautious, almost wary.
What do they contain, Master?
Felix's smirk sharpened, his words dripping with venom.
Proof against your dearest counsel. Not scraps or rumors, documents, decrees, and sealed orders. Records of bribes, betrayals, and blood spilled under the council's command. Not only words of petty corruption, but also atrocities. Records of children torn from their packs and sold to witches for experiments. Ledgers of blood pacts where council members bartered away our kind to vampires in exchange for power. Testimonies of hybrids mutilated, dissected, discarded like corpses. Decrees signed in their own hand authorizing hunts that butchered innocents under the guise of order.
His tone carried a hint of disgust as he continued.
I have a stack of it now, actually. Testimonies from their own men, letters they thought burned, and ledgers that show how they sold our kind for power.
He leaned closer, eyes glinting.
With these, I don't need to invent lies. I will let their own words condemn them. When the truth comes to light, they will claw at each other, desperate to survive. And while they tear themselves apart, I will be the one holding the blade.
The elder's voice trembled as he pressed further.
Is it enough to corner them? To make them surrender their power over law and order?
No. Have you ever seen men in power surrender it willingly? They will never bend the knee to me. And when they refuse, I will have more than one reason to erase the likes of them from this earth. Their crimes, their corruption, their blood-soaked decrees, each one is a nail in their coffin.
His voice hardened, every word deliberate.
These records are only the beginning. But my army, my men, are the true blade. Each one of them has been wronged by the council. They carry scars the council carved into them, and those scars have become their oath to me.
Felix's eyes burned.
My army is not built of mercenaries. It is forged from the broken. That is why it took years to build them. But once the truth spread, they came to me willingly. Wolves, hybrids, even those cast aside as cursed. Not for coin, not for glory, only for vengeance. All of them united by one purpose: to bring the council's order to an end once and for all.
He stepped closer, his words heavy with conviction.
When the day comes, they will not face rebellion. They will face reckoning.
Do you still trust me?
The elder couldn't help but ask.
You know I trust no one. But you, I can count on you to safeguard them.
A sneer curled on Felix's lips as he seethed.
History has been used against me and my family, and now with the ruin of their futures, I shall correct it.
Felix left. His motto remained. If he is meant to be cursed, then he would curse them in return. He will be their chaos. Rebecca lay unconscious in her bed, the covers tossed aside. Her fever rose and fell through the night, but her eyes never once fluttered open. Damien sat waiting at her side, his worry gnawing at him. He had examined her thoroughly, no wounds, no visible injuries, nothing to explain why she remained trapped in that unnatural slumber. He brushed a damp strand of hair from her forehead, his voice low, almost pleading.
Rebecca, wake up, please.
But the silence answered him back. The longer she slept, the heavier his heart grew around him. It wasn't just fever. It was as if her body resisted waking up, bound by a force he couldn't see. Damien's instincts screamed that this was no ordinary illness. He clenched his jaw.
If this is a spell, if someone has dared to bind you like this, I will find them, and I will rip them apart.
Back in the evening, when Logan saw Rebecca collapse to the ground, he wasted no time shifting. Damien was already there, scooping her into his arms. He ran with a speed born of desperation, his grip unyielding, until Jordan's car spotted him at the far end. Together, they brought her back safely, ensuring no eyes followed them. Damien's rage was barely contained. He seized Jordan by the collar and he snarled.
What happened? How could you lose her?
Jordan faltered, panic flashing in his eyes.
Alpha, her car simply vanished. I was blinded by a spell.
Damien's jaw tightened, his senses sharp enough to catch a faint noise from Rebecca's room. His fury sharpened into a threat as he shoved Jordan back.
Leave my sight, now, before I do something you'll regret.
Upon entering her room, Damien found Rebecca drenched in sweat, her body twisting against the sheets. Her face burned to the touch, cheeks flushed crimson, and incoherent murmurs spilled from her lips, as though she was trapped in a nightmare. He immediately dialed a trusted medical expert to examine her. The results revealed nothing but stress-induced hyperthermia, yet the symptoms were far from ordinary. Her pulse raced erratically, spiking and dropping without pattern. Her breathing came shallow, then ragged, as though she was fighting unseen pressure on her chest. The expert noted that while hyperthermia could explain the heat and delirium, the intensity of her symptoms suggested a deeper cause: psychological trauma manifesting physically, or perhaps a supernatural interference that medicine could not measure. All through the night, Damien remained on high alert, his presence unwavering at her bedside. His men circled the streets, hunting for any sign of the stalker. Meanwhile, Jordan had already detained the injured wolf, ensuring he would be treated but kept hidden from prying eyes. Damien's gaze never left Rebecca. He knew something or someone was holding her captive in her own body. The morning crept in slowly, each hour of the night dragging painfully behind it. Damien hadn't let his guard down for even a moment. He knew Rebecca would regain her senses soon enough, yet he dreaded what he might stumble upon when she did. His gaze lingered on her pale face, then slid away, unsettled. Pressing his tongue to the roof of his mouth, his thoughts churned, heavy and uneasy. Without a sound, he closed the bedroom door behind him and stepped out. A faint crease marked his brow, etched with deep unease. He rolled his shoulders once, twisted his neck, but the feeling of dread clung stubbornly. Then the doorbell rang. His eyes snapped instinctively toward Rebecca's room, protective instinct flaring. That was when he heard it, the echo of faint steps, the unusually loud creak of the metal door being pushed open. Step by step, someone was approaching the entrance. The scent drifted in, familiar yet elusive, gnawing at his memory. Damien moved to open the door, every muscle taut. A sharp knock resonated through the lounge before he could. His stance shifted into readiness, predatory and lethal. He gripped the handle hard, knuckles whitening, and with a swift motion, he tore the door open. The sight that met Damien's eyes made him blink in shock. The fire beneath his gaze dimmed as recognition crossed his features. The stranger spoke, her voice carrying both disbelief and edge.
"Hello, Alpha."
Damien released an unexpected breath before replying.
Hello to you too.
She tilted her head, stepping inside without invitation, her presence commanding.
"I had no idea I would find you here, of all places. Oh, and by the way, your men will be unconscious for an hour. Don't expect me to apologize for that."
A smirk slipped past Damien's lips at her casual remark about his men rendered useless outside Rebecca's place.
Good to see you too, Evelyn. I see you received my message.
His words puzzled her, and she stopped herself from scanning around. Turning toward Damien, her eyes narrowed.
"What message?"
Those two simple words carved a crease between his brows. His tone grew slow, cautious.
If you're not here because of my message, then what are you doing here?
A seed of doubt planted itself in his mind. He studied Evelyn again. Her startled remark at finding him here, the way her gaze swept the room, her posture tense. In contrast, Damien's shoulders had dropped at the sight of someone familiar, someone he thought harmless. Evelyn looked away, drawing a sharp breath through her nose before shooting his question back at him.
"What are you doing here, Damien?"
His jaw tightened, and he deflected.
You're not a fan of humans, then why come to one's place?
He pressed, his voice edged with suspicion. Before she could respond, he cut in sharply.
Are you here to hurt her?
Her reply was light, almost mocking.
"Now why would I do that?"
You tell me.
Damien's jaw set, his stomach twisting in unease. Evelyn shifted subtly, her tone dropping into something darker.
"I am here to save her."
These words would otherwise soothe Damien, but today struck him like a ringing alarm. His voice dropped to a whisper, laced with suspicion.
From who?
Evelyn's gaze swept him up and down before she tilted her neck, her tone casual yet cutting.
"For now?"
she asked, answering herself with a cruel smirk.
"From you, I suppose."
Before Damien could react, Evelyn snapped her fingers. A whisper slipped from her lips, weaving into the air like smoke. Even alphas aren't immune to magic as the spell hit him. Damien felt the moment it sank into his veins. His body fought it, every muscle straining against the invisible weight.
No!
The word tore from his throat, raw and defiant. But the spell was merciless. Damien's vision blurred, strength bled from his limbs, and within seconds the darkness swallowed him whole. Not long after, Damien's eyes snapped open. Darkness swallowed the room, but he barely noticed. His hand clutched the sofa arm, knuckles white, as he fought to steady himself. The spell's remnants still lingering, his legs felt weighted, his head light. Yet he forced one step, then another, dragging himself toward Rebecca's door. The handle was cold beneath his palm. He twisted, pried it open, and braced for relief. But the room was empty. His heart thundered so violently it drowned his breath as panic surged through his veins. He stumbled through the house, calling her name, searching every corner. But nothing. The house was empty. Fear clawed at him. Had she been taken? Kidnapped? The thought was crippling. His chest tightened further, his vision blurred. He pressed a hand to his temple, shaking his head as if he could banish the images. The pain intensified, a brutal throb behind his eyes. He shut them, forcing himself to think, to cling to clarity before the darkness consumed him once more. Suddenly, Damien's eyes flew open, his chest heaved with a ragged gasp, instincts surging as he prepared to strike, until his gaze locked on Evelyn. She sat casually before him, a hand raised, inspecting her nails as though time itself had slowed. Only when her eyes lifted to meet his did she speak.
Welcome back.
Damien's rage ignited. In a blur, he closed the distance, his hand clamping around her throat. He lifted her effortlessly, her feet dangling as his voice thundered.
Where is she?
Evelyn's face flushed, yet her composure held as she managed to rasp.
She is inside.
Damien released her with a snarl and stormed toward Rebecca's room. He tore the door open and froze. There she was. Rebecca lay on the bed, her breathing steady. She looked safe, lost in sleep. Relief washed over him so fiercely that his strength faltered. Damien quietly shut the door behind him, the fury in his eyes dimming for a moment. Evelyn stepped closer.
Are you satisfied now?
She whispered, cautious of the alpha who had nearly lost control moments before. Damien's nostrils flared, but he stayed silent. He seized her hand roughly and dragged her toward the lounge, and roared.
Explain yourself.
Evelyn's lips pressed together, her gaze sharp as she studied him. Finally she muttered,
I told you, I wasn't here to harm her.
I don't believe you, Evelyn. What was the purpose of attacking me?
That was no attack, Damien. I only put you under a sleeping spell, and I was the one who woke you only minutes later.
Why?
His instincts told him she wasn't lying, but something about her unsettled him. Doubt gnawed at him. Then Evelyn's question cut through the air.
What is she to you?
Damien didn't hesitate. His answer was firm, absolute.
She is my mate.
Her eyes flickered, a brief sparkle before settling back to their normal color. Damien recognized it instantly. She had activated a spell around them. She was wary of him for some reason and wanted to gain control. Evelyn took her time before speaking, while Damien stayed silent on purpose.
Ah, so you're the anomaly.
The words caught him off guard. Before he could respond, she added,
She's your unclaimed mate. A human, too?
Her tone carried a thoughtfulness, as if she were piecing together a puzzle. Then she continued.
I examined her and broke the spell she was under, but her mind is under severe stress. It may take her some time before she regains her senses.
Damien's eyes widened.
You broke the spell?
He whispered, the words catching in his throat.
How did you?
Evelyn cut him off, her voice clipped.
If I hadn't stepped in, she would have stayed trapped in that state. You know that.
She leaned forward, pressing harder.
I'm not here to harm your mate, Damien. Calm down.
His posture remained tense, but her sincerity rang clear. Slowly, he let go. His shoulders eased, and his fists unclenched.
You've known me your whole life. The least you can do is trust me.
Damien's jaw clenched.
Then why put me under a sleeping spell?
I didn't know what your intentions were with her.
Evelyn admitted, eyes narrowing.
I thought you might be a threat.
Damien's voice broke, low and certain.
I would never.
I understand, and I apologize for putting you through that. But I had to see for myself first.
Damien exhaled hard, the tension in his chest easing.
I apologize for my conduct.
You mean for almost severing my head from my neck?
Evelyn smirked.
Evelyn.
Damien's voice dropped, heavy with warning. The smirk vanished, and she straightened.
I'm kidding. Please relax, Alpha.
Damien's eyes stayed fixed on her.
Let me ask you again. What are you doing here?
Well, I came to check on her, and I would have taken her with me if...
She paused, letting the weight of her words hang.
If that had been necessary. But with you here, I thought I should hear your side of the story, and everything I've missed these past 2 years.
Damien remained unfazed, his voice cutting sharply.
Just because I don't have magic doesn't mean I can't tell when you're lying to my face.
Evelyn tilted her head, deflecting.
What makes you so sure I'm lying?
She knew full well he couldn't be fooled.
I know you, Evelyn. You wouldn't have stepped foot in this city unless it was dire.
Evelyn eased onto the couch, but Damien remained standing, his senses braced, his mind racing. Her voice carried across the room.
I had a message for her, your mate. It was of utmost importance, and only I could deliver it.
Damien's eyes narrowed.
That's part of it. And?
Her smirk returned.
And even though she's your mate, she's still her own person. She has the right to make her own choices, to keep her privacy. This isn't something you can know yet, not from me. All I can tell you is that I promised someone I would deliver something vital to her, personally, and I couldn't decline.
Damien stayed silent, but inside his thoughts swirled. Evelyn leaned back.
And that's all you need to know, for now.
Damien knew Rebecca's humanity wasn't the whole truth. Too many signs had pointed to something hidden, something different. Yet he wasn't ready to share that truth. Not with Evelyn. Not until he understood why she had come here and what game she was playing. For now, his doubts would remain his own, and he would keep his suspicions buried. She pressed her lips together, then spoke.
Don't worry. I won't stay quiet for long.
You will visit her again,
he said flatly, more statement than question. She stood, smoothing her dress, her tone calm as her gaze met his.
Yes, I'm here to stay, for good.
Turning toward the door, she paused. Her eyes flicked toward Rebecca's room, voice dropping to a whisper that sounded like a warning.
Guard her well. I'll see you around.
Evelyn hadn't expected Rebecca's house to be so heavily guarded. Wolves circled the place, alert and loyal. For a heartbeat, she thought of turning back, but the promise she carried weighed heavier than her hesitation. She whispered the words of an old spell, power rippling through the night, and one by one, the wolves dropped, unconscious before they could raise an alarm. She left no trace, no scent, no sound. Only the stillness of bodies lulled into enchanted sleep. Inside, she found Damien. His presence confirmed what she already suspected. The wolves were his men. Doubt pricked her resolve. Was this the right move? Was she trespassing into something she had no claim to? But hesitation was a luxury she couldn't afford. She had already spent too much energy outside, and Damien's instincts were sharp. So she cast a lighter spell. Enough to quiet him, enough to keep him from standing between her and Rebecca. As his body slackened, Evelyn's gaze shifted to the closed door beyond. Rebecca lay within, untouched by the chaos outside. Evelyn exhaled in relief. She had come to deliver what was promised, to place in Rebecca's hands, something only she could receive. Leaning closer, Evelyn examined the strange mark of magic clinging to Rebecca's body. It was foreign and unfamiliar. Few still used such spells, but Evelyn knew what it was. A deep enchantment that held Rebecca in unnatural sleep. She raised her hand to Rebecca's forehead and unraveled the spell with care. Then, whispering another calming incantation, she eased the girl's rest. Still, she did not wake her. Not tonight. The moment wasn't right, and Damien's presence had caught her off guard. Standing over her, Evelyn studied Rebecca's features, her stature, her presence. This was the first time she had truly seen her, the one she had been searching for the past 2 years. Rebecca had been impossibly hard to track, always slipping through the cracks, but a few months ago, Evelyn had finally found the trail. Piece by piece, the fragments came together, leading her back to Sunsville. The moment she saw the name, she understood. She was destined to return to this city after all. There were too many mysteries tangled in Rebecca's signature, and Evelyn had even less time to work out what had been blocking her before. She shifted her weight, then settled herself beside the bed. Her hand hovered over Rebecca's arm, hesitated, then dropped back to her side. A slow breath escaped her before she finally placed her palm over Rebecca's hand. Closing her eyes, the spell rose to her lips. She whispered the words, then everything went blank. Her eyes snapped open, vision blurred and swimming. The sound of heavy breathing filled her ears, tangled with the frantic thump of her own heartbeat. Then arms closed around her, pulling her forward, shielding her from the ground's impact.
How?
Her mind stammered. A wolf had lunged. She remembered the flash of fur, the blood, and then suddenly, this person. Her mind was in shambles. She felt herself lifted, scooped up against a broad chest. The contact burned, heat searing through the skin. His chest heaved, each breath rough, and her own heart stuttered in response. Rebecca tried to keep her eyes open, but the blur deepened. Her body faltered, surrendering to exhaustion, and darkness claimed her once more. The next time she managed to pry her eyes open, she saw herself, not as before, when she had relived every sensation, but now from a distance, as though she was watching through a veil. The wolf lunged at her, its form twisting midair, shifting into something else.
A human? Or still an animal?
Her vision blurred, her eyes blinking rapidly, refusing to settle. For a moment, the noises dulled. The pounding heartbeat, the ragged breathing, all quieted. And in that silence, recognition stirred at the edges of her mind, fragile and incomplete. Then a voice broke through.
You really had no idea who he was?
Evelyn's words jolted her. Rebecca turned, breath catching at the sight of another stranger. A sharp exhale escaped her lips as she instinctively stepped back. The surprise in Evelyn's tone was clear, but Rebecca couldn't grasp what she meant. Her hands rose in defense, voice firm, though her breath shook.
Who are you?
Her gaze darted around, half convinced this was just another nightmare. Evelyn moved closer, her posture curious, almost relaxed. But Rebecca saw only a threat.
Stay back,
she croaked, forcing her voice to steady.
Don't come near me.
Evelyn found Rebecca's behavior odd, something she mentally noted to revisit later. Her voice softened.
I am not here to hurt you.
She had hoped entering Rebecca's mind would be simple. Instead, her first attempt dropped her into an empty, dark room. Even for a witch of her caliber, the failed attempts were strange. Rebecca's mind was locked in layers of shadow, no clear path forward, no exit. Only after several tries did Evelyn manage to slip into one of her recent memories. The puzzle unsettled her.
You're a rather difficult person to locate, you know that?
Evelyn's sincerity carried in her tone, hoping it might ease Rebecca's fear. Rebecca's jaw tightened.
Where are we? Is this some nightmare?
No.
Evelyn answered calmly.
It's a dream world. We're standing inside your memory.
The words struck Rebecca like a wave. Realization dawned, and an undeniable thought surfaced. Is she a witch?
In the real world,
Evelyn added.
I'm sitting next to your sleeping figure.
A wave of unease flickered in Rebecca's abdomen. She swallowed hard before probing.
Why are you here?
I only came to say hi, Rebecca.
Her brows drew together, a deep crease forming.
How do you know my name?
You don't know me,
Evelyn continued softly.
But I've heard a lot about you. And I'm sure by now you realize I'm a witch. And so was your mother.
Rebecca gasped.
You knew my mother?
Met her a few times when I was a kid. I came here to deliver something of hers, something she left behind for you.
Rebecca froze mid-breath, words stalling on her tongue.
What is...
She hesitated, mouth opening before she thought better of it and closed again. Sweat beaded her forehead, her heart pounding, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Evelyn's voice smoothed over her nerves, each word deliberate.
We are not in the real world. You are asleep, safe in your own home. When you wake, you'll find what I've left for you.
She stepped back, her presence beginning to fade.
Wake soon, and I'll come find you, Rebecca.
Before vanishing completely, Evelyn's voice rang out one last time.
And yes, try to remember all of this.
Rebecca stood stunned as the scene dissolved. Dark clouds crowded in, swallowing the memory whole until only blackness remained. And in the waking world, nothing stirred. At least not yet. Evelyn left with an air of satisfaction that Damien found unsettling. It wasn't relief, nor simple confidence. It was something deeper, something that didn't fit the reason she claimed for coming. If she had truly come to check on Rebecca's safety and deliver a message, why leave without even meeting her? Why break the spell but not wake her? Questions swam in his head. Her presence had stirred more doubt than reassurance, and Damien couldn't shake the thought that she was guarding a truth meant only for Rebecca. Damien remained preoccupied with his dilemma. Meanwhile, in the room, Rebecca's heart rate shifted. Her beating quickened. A breath escaped her lips, and then her eyes flew open,